Hey, what up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you. Last night I had a huge night of wrestling. Not one, but two WWE SummerSlams. So I watched SummerSlam 2005 and SummerSlam 2006 on the WWE Network. It was an awesome night. I'm a little tired today, a little bit dragging. Haven't made it out to make it to the gym yet today, but thought before I started my day, I'd review these shows and get those reviews up for you. 2005 was a really, really fun show. Honestly, it was a lot more fun than I thought it was going to be. There was some surprises that came along. In 2005 was the year that I sort of started to get back into wrestling around WrestleMania 21 time. I got to see Batista and Triple H and the end of their feud. I did miss the big bulk of Evolution, as they were a team. It was shortly after about WrestleMania 19 that I just turned off the TV one day, and it was like, I'm just not going to give any more attention. I've talked about it a few times in videos. There's a few times I tried to give it a chance. One time I turned it on TV. It was shortly after they had unmasked Kane, and I just said, forget this. I'm just going to keep going. This isn't worth my time, but something locked me in. It was the WrestleMania 20 DVD. I bought it, I watched all the extras, and then I happened to watch the show because I was bored, and I was like, wow, wrestling's really cool, and I jumped back into it. But this show reminded me a lot of WrestleMania 21. It was only a few months after it. A lot of the stuff that was on the show was built from WrestleMania 21, and so I got down to this. I thought this was pretty cool. Opening match was Chris Benoit against Orlando Jordan. This one ended in 25 seconds. Honestly, in my mind, when they have an opener, only go a matter of a few seconds. This was Chris Benoit winning the United States Championship. It just makes me feel that they ran out of time on the show, and they just needed to get it over with in a hurry. Nothing really special. From there we go to Edge versus Matt Hardy. This was one of the most coolest feuds that I've ever seen. I mean, this is what really made me dive deep into shoot interviews and things like that at the time, really digging into the internet and trying to find every piece of things that were out there. This is one of the biggest wrestling stories from our time. Of course, everybody knows Matt Hardy and Lita were, Team Extreme. They were a real-life couple, and then out of the blue one day, Matt Hardy took all of Lita's pictures down off of his website. Fans started asking him why. He said that the story would get out sooner than later, and before long we knew that Lita was banging Edge on the side and basically had chose Edge over Matt Hardy, and Lita and Matt Hardy were no longer a couple. Basically, because of this, this whole sort of sticky situation, WWE released Matt Hardy, even though that Matt and Edge weren't on the same shows at the time. Fans went ballistic. Fans went crazy. I never knew that Matt Hardy was that loved of a wrestler. I knew that he was liked. But you go to shows on Monday Night Raw, and they would bring Edge or Lita out, and the fans would just go bananas about, we want Matt, we want Matt. Finally, Matt Hardy got the call from Vince McMahon. He called him up. He said that he wanted to have him back, and they executed a pretty good plan to make fans really believe that this angle was real. Basically, with Matt Hardy showing up on Raw and attacking Edge in situations like the first time we saw him was just a cut scene of Edge walking to the ring, and Matt jumped him in the back, and they had a big brawl. And they had another one where I think it was shortly after an Edge versus Kane feud. At the time, Edge was having a feud with Kane, so it was kind of weird for them to throw him right into another feud with Matt Hardy. That was another reason why it was so weird. One of the times Matt Hardy picked up the microphone and told everybody to come see him at Ring of Honor, giving them a huge plug. Very, very fun, very, very fun feud. This was like one of those matches that people wished WrestleMania 25 Randy Orton versus Triple H would have been. I mean, these guys got in the ring and they just wanted to kill each other. This was a very short match. It was only about 5 minutes, and it was stopped due to basically the ref saying that Matt Hardy couldn't go on anymore. He was split, basically from one side of his forehead to the other. Blood was just going everywhere. And even though, the referee said he was down, Matt still wanted to fight. and he took everything out of him. I think that a lot of people gave him a lot of respect for this. I think they would go on to have a trilogy of matches. I think they would go on and they'd have a cage match at the next pay-per-view, and they would end it all at the fucking Raw Homecoming show with the ladder match that they put the Money in the Bank on the line. Then Matt would go over to SmackDown and continue on his career from there. But this was one hell of an awesome feud. This was one hell of a match just to watch, just to see this. When I reviewed WrestleMania 21 a few months ago, I told you guys that basically I thought Rey Mysterio versus Eddie Guerrero was one hell of a match. I just didn't know why they were fighting if they were the tag team champions at the time. Basically, I think they told a better story of why they were fighting at SummerSlam 2005 than they did at WrestleMania 21. This was over the custody of Dominic. A lot of people know about this. They had the ladder match to the briefcase, and then we found out who the real father of Dominic was going to be. And in the back, we had Eddie and Vicky talking about this match, and Vicky's calling Eddie out, saying that, Eddie just wants to be the bigger man. He wants to beat Rey, and he doesn't care about Dominic. He just wants to try and show everybody that he's better than Rey. And as they're coming to the ring, they're telling the story of, Eddie Guerrero has never defeated Rey. He's 0-6 in singles matches, and he's never been able to get the win over him. Honestly, this was a very good match. One of my favorite spots was in the end. Was once it was all said and done, Eddie, jumps back into the ring, and as Rey is in the ring, sort of selling the match. Eddie walks up to him, Rey walks up to Eddie, and I thought that he was going to sort of stick out his hand for like a handshake to say, now that the fight is over, we're buds, and he just clobbered him and took him out, and that was a really, really good match. From there we go to just basically a squash match. This is a match that was set up for Kurt Angle's Olympic gold medals. Somehow Eugene had won them. It was some sort of an Olympic challenge on Raw, where I think you went out there and had some sort of a wrestling match against Kurt Angle. Eugene happened to get a fluke victory over him, and this was Kurt just coming out saying, "I'm going to kick your ass and take your medals." This is around the time when WWE was running out of ideas for Kurt Angle, and they sort of had him on the back burner for a bit. Eugene, Nick Dinsmore, great wrestler, but there wasn't a whole lot you could do with Eugene. He had a short sort of span of time in WWE when it was, they could do cool stuff with him, and they just ran out of it. He should have been repackaged as Nick Dinsmore, somehow changed him up where he wasn't Eugene anymore. He would have been a big talent at WWE. From there we go to Randy Orton versus The Undertaker in a singles match. This had a screwy finish, but it was an awesome match. Basically, in this match, Undertaker seems like he has the match in hand, and he's about to win it. A masked fan comes running into the ring, causing mass confusion. In the confusion, Randy Orton's able to hit an RKO, and he's able to pin the Undertaker. And as they're running up the stage, we're able to see Randy Orton rip the mask off, and it's Bob Orton. And it's sort of like it's not like a mask, like a Halloween mask. This is like a bad grandpa sort of mask, where it's like that really, really sort of disfigurement, and Randy's peeling it off to finally figure out that it's Bob underneath there. Of course, this is leading to their Hell in the Cell match, where Bob just gets split open like a split pig by the Taker. Why did I call him the Taker? John Cena versus Chris Jericho honestly was a good match, but it bored me a bit. Nothing really spectacular about this, but JBL and Batista in a no-holds-barred match was awesome. Awesome finish coming with Batista hitting the spine buster and then hitting JBL with two Batista bombs, one of them on the top of the steel steps, and able to get the pin there. And then in the main event, we had Hulk Hogan and Shawn Michaels, the Icon versus the Legend. Honestly, in my opinion, I remember a lot of talk about this match. Basically, they were putting all of this sort of pay-per-view on Hulk Hogan's shoulders. Hulk Hogan still thought he was a really big star. WWE was sort of thinking that he was a little bit of a prima donna. I think Hogan demanded to be the main event at the show. So they said, you know what, we're going to make you the main event, knowing that, this was a good SummerSlam. But honestly, when you look at this card, it wasn't, hugely stacked at that time. So basically, they had to, they were basically saying, this whole buy rate is going to be based on Hogan versus Shawn. And, if it's good, it's good. And if not, Hogan's had his day, and we're going to push him out to the retirement home, because basically Vince had been trying to do that for years and years. But look at him. Hogan's still going strong. WrestleMania 30 coming out there as the guest host. Basically, Hogan versus Shawn is not a good match. Hogan and Shawn didn't get along with this match at all. Basically, the way that it was laid out, it was supposed to be a trilogy of matches. Of course, with Shawn getting the win in the first one, and Hogan coming back and getting the win in the next two. Hogan didn't want to do business like that. Hogan wanted to make sure that he won the first match, so Shawn or Vince wouldn't pull the rug over his eyes, so he demanded to win this. You can tell that Shawn's not getting down in this match with the classic overselling of every move that Hogan does. It's almost like watching a comic strip of matches. Shawn Michaels he sells everything like it's an action movie. He gets punched and he's doing backflips over the top rope. It's almost like a comedic Ric Flair turned up to 11. Hogan, of course, gets the win. Shawn knows that they're never going to do a match again. I don't know if it's scripted or not scripted, where Shawn's basically ending the feud in the ring. After the match is over, he gets up and he puts his hand out to shake Hogan's hand. And it's more of Hogan not wanting to do it because he doesn't trust him, because Shawn was playing the heel for months. At the time, it was almost like he doesn't want to shake his hand because he knows that basically this is the way of ending the angle, that Shawn is going back babyface, and that basically there is no more matches between Hulk Hogan and Shawn to be made. Hogan knows to shake his hand basically because if he doesn't do it, Hogan comes off looking like the heel, and then they're not going to sell a lot of Hulkamania t-shirts in the upcoming months. But very, very good show. I highly recommend watching 2005. Enjoy your SummerSlam viewings on the WWE Network. Peace out, everybody.